What's up, EV Clan? Alex Espion here, and welcome back to the next episode of the Pokemon Gold Randomizer Nuzlocke. In the last episode, we just made our way through Goldenrod into the underground. Well, we made our way in Goldenrod to the underground entrance, the entrance to the underground passageway, and then we traveled through the underground passageway until we reached this place. Well, we traveled through the entirety of the underground passageway, then went back and went to this place, which is the underground Team Rocket hideout that is in this city. Because apparently this city is like basically entirely corrupted by Team Rocket. They are just everywhere around here, and past this little hideout area with all these switches that we need to turn to the correct combination so that we can get through all these doors, is where they are holding the what's his name? What's the title? The president of something, captive? They're holding some old man captive, past all these doors. And so we need to get past all these doors to save said old man. I don't know what the old man's role is in this game exactly. What he's the president of. I'm pretty sure he's the president of something, but I don't recall. So maybe that guy was just lying to me? Earlier, one of these NPCs, when I say earlier, I mean in a previous episode, and by in a previous episode, I mean in the previous episode, like the one before this. But yeah, in the previous episode, one of these guys said that I had to press the switch on the end first, which I assumed was either the... Well, I at first assumed that it was this switch, but then I realized, wait, they could be talking about the one on the left end. And now I've tried pretty much all the combinations I can think of for the left end and the right end, so maybe I'm... in terms of, like, which one I'm hitting first, like, if I press the left end first, here's what I do next, and then if I press the right end first, here's what I do next, right? So I've tried all the combinations of that. I've tried basically all the combinations I can think of that involve pressing the left end the one on the left end first, or pressing the one on the right end first. And frankly, I just can't seem to find a combination that works. So maybe this guy is just lying to me, and actually I don't need to press the one on the end first. Maybe I need to press the one right in the middle. It would be pretty villainous if the villains lied. That would be pretty in character, I suppose. But yeah, I can see, in the last episode I mentioned how I watched someone get stuck on this for like 40 minutes one time, and I could definitely see how that's possible, especially if you're like commentating, because I don't think it's that hard of a puzzle. At first when I saw it, I was like, oh my gosh, there's going to be like 8 switches, and there's going to be so many combinations that we need to try out, and it's going to require so much thinking. I really don't think it does. I think it's a relatively easy puzzle. It's just also easy to try the same thing over and over again and not really make any progress on it, especially when you're commentating and you're spending brain power commentating and you're not really thinking about what exactly you're doing, right, in game. Like I'm doing right now. Like, I think that if you're doing this by yourself in your room, you're just playing this game on your own, in your own time, alone, then like it's much easier to figure out a puzzle like this than if you're commentating and having to think about that as well at the same time. This is a new combination at the very least. It is... Wait a minute, okay. So do all these switches just open the doors that are right in front of them? It's not that easy, is it? Is that how it works? Because if so, then this is way easier than I was giving it credit for. No. If I turn this one on or off? It's labeled switch 3, but is it on or off? It's on. Okay, so this is on. So this one is open. Right? Is this how it works? If this one is on, is this one on? If they're on, the thing in front of them is open. Is that how it works? It's off. No. Okay, that is not how it works. Never mind, I'm not oversimplifying it. It actually is as hard as I thought it was. It just doesn't make any sense. There's no, like, rhyme or reason to it. You just have to find the right combination. Okay. Basically, it's like the trash can puzzle in Pokemon Red and Blue. It is pretty much complete luck, I think. You just have to find the right combination. Only in this, at least the combination is not random, like in the trash can puzzle. In the trash can puzzle, you could theoretically be there until the end of time. It just is random. It is completely random. And every time you get the wrong trash can, it randomizes into a different thing. So, you just have to find the right combination. This one, and if you get it wrong, it's a different combination, right? This one, there is a set combination, I believe. Unless it is random for literally every game file, which I feel like would be a lot of work to go through, just to be a pain in the ass by the game developers, but, you know, sometimes game developers are willing to go through a lot of work to be a pain in the ass. If I was a game developer, I'd probably go through a lot of work, to be a pain in the ass, given the option. If it's easy for me to well, I guess if it's easy for me, then I'm not doing a lot of work, or am I? But, like, I'm willing to do, if I was a game developer, I'm sure I'd be willing to do the, like, slightly above average to, like, anywhere from slightly above average to, a considerable amount more work than I need to, just to be a pain in the ass for the players. Just to make a part that is, like, frankly, just annoying for people to play. Because, I don't know, that just sounds funny. To, like, purposefully make a part of a game that is just a pain in the ass to play. So what combination opens the door at the bottom? Is this the combination that opens the door at the bottom? I'm trying to think. Like, when I open one of these, does it close? It closes things, right? Like, each of these closes something and opens something, right? Like, there's not one of these switches that just opens something and one of these switches that just closes something. Oh, wait, we got through. Okay. I was gonna say, like, do some of them only open things and some of them only close things? Guess I'll never know. Or do they all open something and close something? And do some of them open multiple things? And do some of them close multiple things? Or is it like some of them open two things, and some of them open one thing and close one thing, and some of them close two things, but all of them do two things? I'll know. I'll never know. Unless I get curious one day and decide to research how this room is coded. But I probably won't, so anytime soon, at least. So until then, until that day, for some reason comes, I will not know, and I frankly probably will not care. Anyway, are you lost? No, you can't be. You don't have that scared look. I'll give you something to be scared about. Well, obviously I will not care because I will not know because I will not care, right? That's what it is. If I cared, I would just look it up. But the fact that I do not care is the reason why I do not know. As soon as I care, then I will probably know soon after, because I will do the research. I will put the research in. But for now, I do not really care. So we are going to surf this Flareon. And when I say that, I just imagine Judy taking Flareon, stepping on it like it's a surfboard, and riding it through the water. We're gonna surf this gnarly Flareon, dude! Here comes Nidoqueen. I was gonna switch Shucky to the front, just to get Shucky some XP, because I know Shucky has been getting literally no XP for a very long time at this point. But, like, how can I switch Shucky to the front when it's just so easy for Judy to sweep through everything with those powerful surfs that are super effective on this person's entire team for some reason? I mean, did this person not think of type matchups at all when assembling this team? Did they not realize their entire team is weak to water? The most common type in the game? Like, come on! That is the single most common Pokemon type. What are you doing? How could you? How could you make an entire team how could you make an entire team that is weak to water? What? Go wherever you'd like. Get lost. See if I care. Okay, what does this switch do? It's labeled emergency. It's off. Turn it on. Why would I turn it on? Is it the only way to open these doors? No, it does not seem to be. In fact, the doors seem to be already open. So I wonder what that emergency switch actually does. Does it turn off all the walls, all the doors? Does it make them all go up? If so, that sounds amazing, and I should do it. Labeled emergency. It's off. Turn it on. Oh yeah, that opens up everything, doesn't it? No, it does not. It does not. Oh. Okay. So I guess it just puts up everything. So it's not really useful to the player in any way, it's just kind of there for aesthetics, right? Like, this is the button that she pressed to put everything back up, but I would never need to put everything back up. Like, this is the button that you press to put up all those walls, but I would never need to press it because I would never need to put everything back up, right? This is just here because it's something that this NPC here needed to use. For the sake of, like, the plot. I get it. I understand. Okay. For the sake of the plot and actually creating that puzzle. I got it. Anyway. Oh, I see the president, or the, headmaster, or the chairman, or whatever the old man is, whatever his title is, over there. I see him through that wall. You're not going any farther. I don't show mercy to my enemies. Not even brats. Okay. So, in last episode, I talked a lot about Paper Mario the Origami King. Specifically, I talked about the final boss. And, I talked a lot about, the final boss fight itself. But I didn't really talk as much as I wanted to about the character, Ollie. I talked about the final boss fight with him, I didn't really talk about him. And so, I kind of want to touch on that in this episode. And I don't think it'll take terribly long, because I think the longer part of talking about Ollie was talking about the boss fight. Like, him as the final boss. Talking about him as the character, Ollie, like, just as a character, not really the final boss, not really touching on the final boss fight, because we already talked about that. I think will take much less time. But here's a Mewtwo. Let's get our fighting type off the field. And instead swap in, not a psychic type, that is also a bad option. We will go with Geraldine. Yeah. That sounds like a decent enough option. But yeah, I feel like talking about Ollie as the character, rather than Ollie as the final boss, and talking about, like, the final boss fight, will take much less time. So I'm just gonna do that real quick, just touch on some of the things that I wanted to talk about in terms of Ollie. But I think they did a really good job of making him a massive jerk, which I feel like Nintendo doesn't do a lot with their villains. I feel like Nintendo's okay enough at making villains villainous, like, just making them, like, pure evil, right? You see all these, like, Kirby enemies that are, like, just pure evil, right? And Bowser is... I mean, Bowser is likable. Bowser's a likable villain, is the thing. Nintendo either makes villains that are pure evil, like Ganondorf, the King of Evil, or, like, Void Termina, the embodiment of destruction, right? Or, like, Highness, the cultist who abuses his underlings. Blast it! They just make villains that are, like, pure evil, or villains that are likable. That's the two categories that Nintendo villains seem to fit into. Obviously, on the evil villains, you have, like, Ganondorf, Void Termina, Highness. On that side of the spectrum, you have those villains like that. And I guess Void Termina isn't really a villain, just kind of like an entity. The Highness is really the villain of Kirby Star Allies. Void Termina is less the villain and more just a being that Highness summoned. It's like calling death a villain. It's like, no, it's a force of nature. You know, it's not really a villain. It's just a force. It is something that the villain summoned. It is not necessarily the villain of the game. It is a being that the villain summoned to do a job. Unfortunately for Highness, Void Termina Highness had to kill himself to summon Void Termina. But, like, it is a thing that Highness summoned forth. Highness was the villain of Kirby Star Allies. Void Termina was just kind of a result of his actions. Not really a villain. I lost! Please forgive me, Giovanni! Obviously, Void Termina is a bad guy of sorts, but I feel like the villain of a game is different than just a bad guy. A bad guy is just kind of like, it's a thing that is a negative force in the game. Meanwhile, the villain is like the negative force, the person like that is like the antagonist, the thing that is driving the conflict. Yuck, yuck, yuck! I remember you! I remember you too with your wacky laugh! You got me good at our hideout! Yeah, nice to see that guy again, but, anyway, yeah. Void Termina, I guess, isn't really the villain, right? But, like, Nintendo is good at making those villains that are, like, pure evil. like Highness, and Ganondorf, and, like, Nightmare, right? Especially Kirby villains tend that way. But, yeah, as I said, Nightmare and Highness, to name a few, that are just, like, pure evil. And then Link and Legend of Zelda has Ganondorf, right? And I'm sure there are some other Legend of Zelda villains that are just pure evil, but I don't know enough about Legend of Zelda to actually comment on that, so I'm just gonna say, Kirby, I feel, has a lot of those, like, pure evil villains, and I know Ganondorf for certain is pure evil, because his title is literally the King of Evil. So, I think, at least. Maybe that is just something I heard on the internet, or heard kids on the playground saying when I was a kid. But I'm pretty sure he is referred to as the King of Evil in something. Or maybe he's referred to as the King of Evil in multiple things. Maybe he's referred to as the King of Evil actually pretty often. I don't know. Again, I don't know much about Legend of Zelda, so I don't know. But I'm sure he does have the title King of Evil somewhere. It may be in a lot of things, a lot of games, a lot of references. It may be something that is consistent in Legend of Zelda, or maybe something that's in just one game. He's referred to it like one or two times, but I do believe quite confidently that at least once in at least one Legend of Zelda game, I do believe that at least once in at least one Legend of Zelda game, he is referred to as the King of Evil. So yeah, obviously he makes that list of Nintendo villains that are just pure evil, along with all the Kirby villains I know, who certainly are. But then you have the other side of the spectrum that is like likable villains that Nintendo makes, like Bowser, or I'm sure there are other ones. I certainly do recall there being other ones. It's just, for some reason, not coming to mind right now. But Bowser, I feel, is the most obvious one. Like, Bowser is a very likable villain. He frickin' goes and plays Mario. He frickin' goes and races go-karts with Mario on Sundays, you know? Like, he's frickin' with the group, you know? He's a villain, but he also just, like, parties with them and races go-karts with them. Like, he's a nice guy deep down. He's just obsessed with kidnapping a princess. Yuck, yuck, yuck. So that's how. And so, sometimes Bowser does, like, really evil stuff, and it feels almost off because he's such a likable villain. He's such a, like, not bad guy. He's such a not bad guy. You know? He's like, comical. He's evil, but he's not, like, evil. He's a likable villain, you know? He's, like, the kind of villain where, like, Mario defeats him, and then he's like, haha, you win again, Mario, but you won't win next time. But, like, if either one of them actually killed the other, I feel like both Mario and Bowser, like, no matter who killed who, Mario and Bowser, either one would be distraught, you know? Like, I feel like they have that sort of relationship, where, like, Bowser is Mario's arch nemesis, but Bowser would never want to kill Mario, and Mario would never want to kill Bowser. Like, he's just a goofy villain. He does villainous stuff, but he's a nice guy deep down. He's not a villain to be, like, taken seriously. He's not trying to, like, end the world or something. He's just, like, he's just a goofy guy who does villainous stuff, you know? He's like a likable villain, you know? He's a likable villain, not a destroy-the-world villain. So, Nintendo really does those two types of villains, right? The pure evil ones and then the likable ones. Again, there's other likable ones, I just can't think of anyone besides Bowser right now. Yuck, 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 that was a blast! I'll remember you! And I'm sure I will remember you. Considering I've now heard that laugh 6 times, I'm sure I will remember you. How did you get this far? I guess it can't be helped. I'll dispose of you. Who's this? Is this like a Team Rocket boss, or have I already fought all the Team Rocket bosses around here? And this is just a random person. No, this is just a random person. They just put a random person in charge of guarding this person they're holding captive down here. That's crazy. You want to save this old man, who is very important, who we are holding hostage? Well, get past this random dude. It's like, you'd think they'd put someone more important in their little criminal organization in charge of guarding this guy, but I guess they couldn't spare any more staff that's important to be stationed here. But yeah, Nintendo tends to do only really those, Nintendo tends to only usually really do those like, either likable villains or pure evil villains. they never do villains that are just kind of like jerks, right? And I feel like Ollie is definitely a villain who is a jerk. He's not likable, but he's not pure evil either. He has a moral compass, he's just a jerk. Right? Like, sometimes there are those villains like that, where it's like, they just say things, and you're like, that's just a hurtful thing to say. That's just a shallow view of the world, right? That's just hateful. They're just saying something hateful. They're not pure evil. They're just saying something that is hateful, and saying something that is inherently, like, offensive to people, you know? It's like, they're a villain, not because they're trying to, like, destroy the world or anything, or be, like... Well, maybe Ollie is trying to destroy the world in a sense, but, like... You know what I mean. Like, there's villains, personality-wise, that are, like, pure evil, where you're just, like... Where they're just, like, so beyond anyone, like, empathizing with them. They're just, like, pure evil. And then there's other villains where it's like, they have a moral compass, but they make it hard for you to empathize with them, because their moral compass points to them being a jerk. He disposed of me! Team Rocket will keep going, waiting for the return of Giovanni. We'll do whatever it takes. Okay, and now we're gonna grab this Pokeball and then save this guy. I found TM34, what's that? Is it gonna tell me? No, it's not. It's not gonna, it doesn't tell you yet in this franchise, at this point in the franchise. Not in this game. In this game it does not tell you yet, what the TM is when you pick it up. However, that is a thing in future games. I know in Scarlet and Violet, as well as Sword and Shield before that, it did do that. So, I don't know when that mechanic became a thing, where, like, you pick up a TM and then it tells you what it is without you having to look at your bag. Obviously, I think from the beginning of the franchise, when you get given a TM by a gym leader, you don't have to look in the bag to know what it is because they just tell you. However, it's later when TMs you're not given by a gym leader, they tell you instantly what they are. Horn Attack. Okay, that is not really helpful to us at all. But free TM, so that's cool. It's not necessarily helpful, but it is free, so it still feels nice. Who? What? You came to rescue me? Thank you. The radio tower. What's happening there? Taken over by Team Rocket? Here, take this card key. I got a card key, yay! Okay, so now I guess we get to finish off the radio tower stuff. Use that to open the shutters on 3rd floor. I'm begging you to help. There's no telling what they'll do if they control the transmitter. They may even be able to control Pokemon using a special signal. You're the only one I can call on. Please save the radio tower, and all the Pokemon nationwide. Nationwide is on your side. Sorry. I don't know what got into me. Really catchy advertising, that's what got into me. Anyway, what's in this Pokeball? Something we can't pick up? It is something we can't pick up, but it is black glasses, which could be helpful. It's not a bad item per se. I just don't think we have anything that anyone that we can use that on right now. Anybody? Anyone need black glasses for any reason? Anyone with a Dark-type move who could use a power-up to that Dark-type move? I'm not seeing anyone, but maybe at some point it will be helpful to us in some way, so let's see if we can pick it up. Rare candy? Let's give that to someone. No, let's not. Let's save it for now. Powers up normal type moves is what the polka dot bow does. Oh, okay. I thought that was some sort of, I mentioned in the last episode, I thought that was some sort of, what's the word? What am I looking for? My brain is searching and it's not finding anything. I thought that was some sort of thing for, like, Pokemon contests. And I didn't know if those were actually in this game or not. And I still don't know, but the fact that it's not tells me that it's probably not for Pokemon contests, because I didn't think that there were Pokemon contests yet in this game. I think that's a Gen 3 thing that gets introduced. It's not exclusive to Gen 3. But I know but I'm fairly sure it gets introduced in Gen 3. So, yeah, I don't know what to get rid of here. What are we thinking? Stop for stuff for PP? HP by 20. Okay, we could use some of these red candy bars, right? On Judy? I guess. I mean, we're not putting them in front or anything. We are getting to a Pokemon Center soon, so maybe we don't want to use these up. What is something that we're willing to sacrifice? What is something that we're willing to get rid of? So that we can pick up these black glasses. Let's toss the flour mill. I could sell it, but it's not worth much, so might as well just toss it. But yeah, Ollie is just one of those, like, King Ollie from Paper Mario Origami King is just one of those villains where he's, like, a jerk. He's not pure evil, and he's not pure evil, but he's certainly not likable. He's just a jerk. Hey, kid! You're holding us up! Our policy is to work behind the scenes where no one can see us. Okay. Ooh, ah! Ooh, ah! The stuff on the ground's junk. Take it if you want it. Okay. And you? Macho! Okay, thank you, Machoke, for your insightful commentary. I lose my passion for work if someone's watching. Come on, kid, scoot! My bad. I didn't know. I'm sorry. And oh, we come out in the basement of the department store. Okay, wonderful. So that's what the basement key was a basement key for. Yeah, let's not go to the basement because we're already in the basement. Just kept clicking basement, and we're already there, so it wasn't doing anything. But yeah, I think the time when you really realize... Ollie's just a jerk villain. He has a moral compass. It's just a bad moral compass. He's just a jerk. He's not pure evil because he has a moral compass, but he's a jerk, right? And I think the moment that you realize that is when they decided to make him sexist and racist. Which is crazy for Nintendo to make their villain that, because it is such a weird, like, he's not pure evil, so they don't need to make him that bad of a person, but they also aren't gonna make him, but like, they also aren't making him likable, which they tend to do with villains that they don't make pure evil. It's just weird to see them walking this middle ground of, like, he's not pure evil. He has a conscience. He is not, like, some being that is destined to be evil or whatever. He is just and he's not likable, but he's not likable either. He's just a jerk. Not a villain that is destined to be evil and just do evil things for evil reasons. He's just a jerk. It's weird to see them walk that middle ground because they just don't... Nintendo doesn't tend to do that. But boy, did they make him just a jerk of a villain, like a not likable villain. A not pure evil villain, but a not likable villain. Because obviously if a villain is pure evil, then you don't like them. But he's not pure evil, he has a moral compass, he has reasons for what he's doing. He's just, he's not there just to watch the world burn. He's, causing chaos, being evil for a reason. He's not pure evil, he's not lacking a moral compass, he's not doing what he's doing just to watch the world burn. He's just a jerk, he's just not likable. How did the shutter open? Did you have something to do with this? Yep. But yeah, he just kind of says, first of all, he folds Peach into the castle, right? He folds her into the castle so that she is, because obviously everything in this world, in case you never played Paper Mario, everything is made of paper. I feel like that's kind of obvious, and I feel like, a lot of people, never mind, okay. Paper Mario, everything is made of paper, in case you're somehow unfamiliar. You could be, just someone who doesn't normally care much about Nintendo, but you like Pokemon. Maybe you're just a Pokemon guy, not really a Nintendo guy, and you're watching this because you like Pokemon, I get it. I feel like the majority of people watching this probably know, at the very least, that in Paper Mario, everything is made out of paper. I feel like that's pretty common knowledge amongst people who watch Pokemon and take in Pokemon content, because I feel like Pokemon, if you like Pokemon, the majority of people who like Pokemon, I'd say probably like other Nintendo games too. And maybe not all of them, but at the very least Mario, right? I feel like Mario is pretty, even if you don't like Nintendo, I'm sure that a lot of people, I'm sure that a lot of people who even, like, don't like Mario, still like, I'm sure that a lot of people who even, like, don't like Nintendo, per se, like Mario. Mario is just, like, a very, always pretty good game, right? It's always a pretty good franchise. It's just like, doesn't matter what you like. If you don't typically like platformers, that's whatever. It's just like fun for pretty much everyone. It's just a game that you kind of like. It doesn't matter who you are or what kind of game you like. It's just a good game. It's just fun to play. It's not the most fun thing in the world. Some people enjoy it way more than others, but I feel like everyone, like most everyone who plays video games can just kind of agree that like Mario is fine, like at least fine. Like it's something that they're willing to play, even if they don't like particularly like it any more than any other game franchise. It's there. It's something that they're willing to play. It's something that they find amusing at the very least. I feel like to any gamer, Mario, regardless of whether you like platformers or whether you like Nintendo, I feel like to any gamer who tries Mario, they will find it at least amusing. At least an interesting way, something that keeps their interest, something that they can occupy time with, even if it's not the most fun thing they've ever played in the world. They will at least find it a little fun, I think. That is the thing about Mario that I think is so interesting, is that it has such an influence on gaming, that where, like, even if you don't like... And it's just so... It's good enough a game to the point where... It's just consistently good enough a franchise to the point where people who even, like, don't like Nintendo and don't like... Don't particularly like Nintendo and... It's good enough a franchise, like, consistently to the point where, like, even people who don't like Nintendo, particularly, still can play Mario and enjoy it. Still often do enjoy it if they play Mario, I'd say. Mario games are just generally good. And I feel like that's something that, regardless of what types of games you like to play, people can just agree on. And any gamer, really, regardless of what types of games they play, I feel can agree on the fact that Mario's just good. At the very least, that Mario's just good. Some people think it's great. I personally think it's awesome. I'm a big Mario fan. But I'm not familiar with a whole lot of people who don't think that Mario's, like, at least good. I feel like pretty much every gamer I've met can sit down and have fun with Mario. Have fun with a Mario game. I feel like the franchise is just consistently good, and you just enjoy it even a little bit, no matter who you are. Even if it's just a little bit, you enjoy it, no matter who you are, as long as you play as long as you like playing video games. If you like playing video games, I feel like even if it's just a little bit, you enjoy Mario. Like, it's good. It's hard to argue with the fact that Mario is just good, in my opinion. That's the way I see it, at least. But anyway, where was I going? Where was, what is this, what was I talking about before I went on this tangent? About how Mario is just a good game. Good franchise. Consistently good. Consistently enjoyable for pretty much everyone who plays video games. Anyone who's a gamer, really. But, yeah, where was I going? What was I talking about before I went on that tangent? Is curse useful to us in any way? Okay, I just got rid of something. Hopefully it wasn't anything good. I forgot hypnosis? That's fine. Anyway. Yeah, where was I? I'm done for! Well, that's where he was at, but where was I at? What? You made it past our men in the underground? How could you? Yeah, I guess I'm just that good. Okay. Let's see about this guy. Stop! I'm known as the Team Rocket Fortress. You're not taking another step. Oh, is he an admin? Or is he just a random dude with a really cool nickname? Oh, okay, I think this is Petrol again. Can't tell by the outside, by the sprites in the overworld. Can't tell by the sprites in the overworld, but I can certainly tell by the sprites in battle. That looks like Petrol. It certainly doesn't look like. Maybe I'm wrong on the Petrol thing, but it certainly doesn't look like a normal Team Rocket grunt. I think it's Petrol, but I know it's not a normal Team Rocket grunt. It's level 36, and it's a normal type. Can it even hit us? Can we even hit it? The answer is no. The answer to both those questions is probably no. So I guess we just, wait here for a very long time, doing nothing to each other. Unless I switch out here. So I'll switch out here, because I wouldn't really be a big fan of the whole waiting here for a very long time, doing nothing to each other. Sounds pretty boring. But yeah, judging by the fact that it didn't go for an attacking move, maybe it's just doing some setup first, but I think if it could attack us, it would have went for an attacking move because it's a freaking Cleffa. And so I don't think it really feels... I don't think this is a Pokemon that really feels the need to set up on us. Because I think Cleffa... I think if the AI is dealing with a Cleffa, if the AI is using a Cleffa, it probably just attacks first. It attacks right off the bat, because it knows Cleffa isn't going to last long. It's a freaking Cleffa. It's not going to be able to take hits. That's at least how I view it. I think, yeah. I don't think this thing has anything to hit anything, really. Otherwise, I think it would have gone for those attacking moves, because I think the AI would have realized, like, Cleffa is frail. We should just attack while we can. Yeah, it does seem to be just going for status. I think if it does have an attacking move, which I think at this point is even a stretch, but it might go for an attacking move right now and prove me wrong. Charm. Still Charm. Yeah, this thing might not have any attacking move, which is crazy that at level 36 something might not have an attacking move, but it is a baby Pokemon, and it is Cleffa, so it makes sense, I guess. And this is... Oh my gosh, yeah, that's another status move. We are asleep and confused. We are having a very confusing dream right now. Nina is freaking dreaming about being trapped in a fish. Like, Nina is having the weirdest dream right now. Nina is trapped in a fish, surrounded by dinosaurs, with a top hat on, and a top hat on that top hat, and Nina is also eating blueberry pie at the same time. Nina's having a very confusing dream. But yeah, Ollie was just kinda... Yeah, he's... Anyway, yeah, right, that's where I was going with this. Yeah, in Paper Mario, everything's made of paper. Shocking, I know. But that includes, like, all the characters, and so Peach is made of paper. So, basically, he took Peach, and the plot of Paper Mario Origami King is basically that, like, he's Ollie, the villain, King Ollie, is folding all the people folding all the people, all the creatures in the Mushroom Kingdom into origami versions of those people, and they're like evil origami things. So like they take a Goomba and they fold it into an origami Goomba, and then it no longer works for Bowser, it works for King Ollie. He's taking everything and making it loyal to him by folding it into origami. Folding these paper creatures into origami. And so therefore then they are like brainwashed into like working for him, I guess. The fortress came down! They're brainwashed into working for him and serving his side and his motive. Is that the right word? Serving his agenda. That's the word I was looking for. It's not, but it's a better word than I was looking for, actually, I think. You've earned my respect, so here's some advice. It's not too late. You could still turn back. Why would I turn back? I just beat you like it was nothing. I have no reason to turn back, okay? I could take anyone in this gosh darn building! 4th floor, Studio 2. Okay. Speaking of taking everyone in this gosh darn building, I see someone down there, too, that I could also challenge. And that I will also challenge, assuming that they're a trainer, they are. Don't I think Pokemon are cute? I'll think my Pokemon are cute after they beat yours! Well, that has nothing to do with their cuteness, but I mean, I guess... However you want to gauge it, girl. Your opinion's your opinion. You do you. Writer Malcolm. Send it in Snubble. Yeah, not the cutest Pokemon in the world. Gotta say. If I were to rank the cuteness of that one, regardless of whether or not it beats me, which it won't, but regardless of whether or not it beats me, I would say that is a 0 out of 10 on the cuteness scale. Maybe that's a little harsh. Maybe that's a little much. Puppies do tend to be cute. It is not the most... It's a pretty ugly puppy, but it's still a puppy. So let's, let me look real closely at it. 0 out of 10 on the cuteness scale. Let's see if we can give it a higher score. Really examining this thing. Seeing if I have underestimated its cuteness. And frankly, so far, I've really am struggling to give this thing anything above a 0 out of 10. 1. 1 out of 10 on the cuteness scale. 2 if I'm pushing it. Let's say 2. 2 on the cuteness scale. 2 out of 10. 2 out of 10 cuteness. That's really as high as I'm willing to go. But anyway, now let's kill it. Who shall we bring in to do that? Let's go with Nina. Judy is now level 38, so that's cool. We no longer need to really focus on sending them out a ton when it's not necessary that we do. We can just send them out whenever now. We don't really need to focus all our efforts on we don't really need to focus on them in terms of like sending things out anymore. Because they are low level, because they're at the same level as most of the rest of the team. By most of the rest of the team, I mean the level I am aiming for, because at this point I don't even know if it's still half of the team. It was half of the team, which was already not most of the team, but it may not even be half the team anymore. Let me see. Is it still half the team? Oh, it's turning into Clefairy. This is a slight upgrade from the Cleffa that I just faced, actually. Which is funny, because that was an important executive in Team Rocket, and meanwhile you are just a random person. Yet they had a Cleffa, and you have a Clefairy. So, why did I say Clefairy so weird there? Clefairy. Really put emphasis on the Clef there. I guess I was just talking about Cleffa, and so I was, like, still in Clef mode, when really it's pronounced more like Clef in Clefairy. But anyway. What are we fighting? We're fighting Clefairy. I just went on a tangent about Clefairy, and then forgot we were fighting Clefairy. But, yeah. Basically, King Ollie in Paper Mario The Origami King, folds Princess Peach into origami at the beginning of the game. Well, not at the beginning of the game, I don't really know. He kidnaps he takes over Princess Peach's castle, turns it into his own castle, and, like, and obviously keeps Princess Peach in there, and he puts the castle on top of, like, a big old mountain that no one can get to. So basically, he's secluded himself and Princess Peach away from the rest of Mushroom Kingdom, so he can, like, look down on the kingdom and just sort of wreak havoc on it. And he can just, like, sort of command his units, command his minions from the top of his mountain while overlooking the Mushroom Kingdom and sort of looking down on everyone. Saying his commands from there. Right, commanding his troops from there, so to speak. And obviously Princess Peach is up there with him, because when he stole the castle and put it up on top of that mountain, he stole Princess Peach along with it. So, somewhere along the line, somewhere between him taking over the castle and the end of the game, where you go into the where you get back to the castle, where you get up to the top of the mountain and you enter the castle, he has made Peach into origami. So Peach is now, like, subservient to him, basically. Does this guy have another Snubble? Or is this the same Snubble and he's just switched it out? I feel like this is another Snubble. I feel like there was no reason for him to switch out that other Snubble. And so this is just a different Snubble. That's crazy if this is a different Snubble. I'm pretty sure it is. So I think this is crazy. I could be wrong, but I think this is crazy. But yeah, he sort of, like, folded Peach and made her subservient to him. But as if that wasn't enough, he also just, like, at the very end of the game, after Peach Peach tries to, like, lead you into a trap, and, like, ask you to, like, follow her down a hall, and then, like, she leads you down a hallway, and then the entire castle folds into a different castle. And so now, Peach's castle has been entirely folded into something new. It's Ollie's castle, and along with it, Peach has been folded into the wall. And Peach is now like a mosaic on the wall. She is trapped within the wall, and her body is spread out like she's being, like, crucified or something. And her dress is just, like, a big circle on the wall with her head in the middle and her arms, like, outstretched. So she just, like, looks like she is being, like, trapped and stretched out in the wall. And she cannot move, she cannot speak, and King Ollie is just monologuing at the final boss fight. He's just monologuing and saying, "Do you see the decoration I've made Peach into? I love the princess so much more now that she cannot talk." And it's like, what the heck? Man wanted to shut that woman up. Oh my gosh. Like, that is so... My goodness. Like, am I the only one? people who have also played Paper Mario and the Origami King, am I the only one who heard that line of him being like, the princess is so beautiful. She's so much better now that she is a simple beautiful thing in the wall, unable to speak. It's like, he just likes her to be there and be beautiful and does not want her to speak? Am I the only one who thought that was, like, mad sexist? This guy's, like, freaking misogynistic as all get out? Like, what the heck? He likes her better when she's just forced to be there and be beautiful, but cannot speak. That's crazy. It's such a, like, to me that's such a blatantly sexist, misogynistic line, but whatever, man. He's just really evil, I guess. He's just a real big jerk. Just a massive douchebag in the way he sees the world. But, oh no! They're so useless! I love my beautiful self. Apparently, Ollie loves Princess Peach's beautiful self as long as she's not speaking. Who cares about Pokemon? Meowth. Meowth says Meowth. Very insightful commentary. Why? Why do I have to suffer through this? Meowth, help me! And was Meowth to say that? Meowth. Ma'am, I don't think your Meowth will be helping you very much, unfortunately. Do these papers say anything? Can I look through this microscope and see some interesting Pokemon science? No? Okay. Can I walk through these, chairs? They are just decoration. I cannot, in fact, I do not collide with them when I walk into them. I walk right past them. Okay. Pretty sure that's not how chairs work. I'm pretty sure they're usually solid objects, but who am I to say I'm not an architect? I guess carpenter would be the correct word. Architects don't really know much about chairs. I mean, I guess they know enough to the point where they, like, put chairs in places sometimes. Maybe that's like a... Where does architecture end and house decoration begin in terms of, like, what people in certain jobs need to do? Like, architects just make the house, right? They don't need to furnish anything, do they? Or do they need to, like, lay out a plan for the furniture, but they don't need to, like, pick out furniture at all? Like, do they need to know things about furniture? Or do they just need to know, like, the size of the furniture? Is that all they need to know about furniture? Do architects really know anything about furniture besides, like, the size of it, and what size it should be, and, like, what... Like, do they really need to know anything about furniture besides, like, what the size of it should be, and what is the regulation of, like... This room needs to have this piece of furniture in it. Because I know a bedroom doesn't technically need to have a bed in it from an architectural standpoint to be considered a bedroom. That's crazy. Hi, little boy. Remember me from the hideout in Mahogany Town? I lost then, but I won't this time. So I know that, like, furniture factors into architecture in some way, because I took an architecture class once. Wasn't a very good experience, but I took an architecture class once. So I know it factors in some way. I just don't know, like, what is the absolute threshold? What is the absolute most? Well, okay. Sorry. I guess what is the absolute least would be? What is the absolute least that an architecture needs to know about furniture? Did I say that an architecture needs to know? What is the absolute least that an architect needs to know about furniture in order to be a successful architect? I wonder. But anyway, Hitmonlee. Hitmonlee. What do we do about Hitmonlee? We could send it to Geraldine. Geraldine is pretty high level, so I'm not a big fan of that plan of action, personally. What are we going for? We're going for Nina, I guess, because, well, I guess Nina is closer to level 39 than Judy is, so technically we should be sending a Judy. I think Nina's, like, gonna get level 39 from this battle. Yeah, seems pretty likely, especially since this Hitmonlee is level 32. It's actually a pretty reasonable level. Obviously it's not caught up with us just yet, because this game doesn't catch up with us in levels until pretty much after the game finishes. They catch up with us in levels in Kanto. Kept going and crashed? Oh yeah, he missed the high jump kick. That's what happens when you miss a high jump kick. Actually, so he kept going and crashed, but it didn't actually do any damage. That's strange. Is that not a thing in this game? The fact that there's specific dialogue in this game for missing a high jump kick tells me that it should have an effect. And I imagine the effect would be the same in this game as in other games, because high jump kick, if you kick something and you keep going and you miss and you keep going and crash, that would probably theoretically lead to you taking damage, losing health, you know? Like, that makes sense. I don't know why it would have any other effect. So I'd imagine in this game, when you miss a high jump kick and you keep going and crash, just like any other game, any other Pokemon game, just like in any other Pokemon game, where high jump kick is a thing, you, maybe high jump kick is a thing in Kanto, I don't actually know. But just like any other game that is after this one, any other Pokemon game that is after this one, where high jump kick is a thing, just like any Pokemon game that is after this one where high jump kick is a thing, I feel like it would make sense, because if you keep going and crash, that sounds like it hurts, that you would, take damage. I feel like because of that, because, to keep going and crash when you miss a kick sounds like it would hurt, I feel like, just like in games after this one, to my knowledge, at least, every game after this one, high jump kick, in this game, it would make sense for it to, do damage to you when you keep going and crash. That would make sense. I don't know why it would have any other effect, which makes me think it doesn't, and that was just an odd scenario where something strange happened that I cannot quite pinpoint what it is. And oh my gosh, that was a lot of damage. Wait, what did we just use? A berry? We had a berry? We were holding a berry? What? I was not aware. So we outspeed this thing, right? Yes. The answer is yes. Thank goodness the answer is yes. Because I was far too stubborn at this point. Nina had made far too much progress against that Vaporeon for me to switch Nina out. There. I know the safe thing to do was to switch Nina out in case it was like a speed tie or something. And then I was fairly sure. First of all, I was fairly sure that we'd outspeed, but I didn't know for sure. So in that case, I should have just switched out. That would have been the safe thing to do. Also, even if we did outspeed before, it could have been a speed tie. I don't know why it would be a speed tie between a Nidoqueen and a Vaporeon, but, you know, there have been weirder speed ties in the past. So, I could have been not paying attention, or it could have been a speed tie, and in both those situations, Nina could have died there. I also did not pay attention to how much damage that water gun was doing exactly. I know a crit would have killed, but it seems highly unlikely that they would get a crit, followed by another crit, unless they had super luck, which is not a thing in this game, because abilities in general are not a thing yet in this game. That is frightening. But we kill here, because strength cannot miss. He says, hoping that there's no glitch in this game, like in Red and Blue, where a 100% accuracy move can just miss. Because that's a thing in Red and Blue. Because Red and Blue is that broken. A 100% accuracy move can just miss in Red and Blue. I hope that's not a thing in this game. If it is, then we just got... then it's a good thing that that didn't just happen here. However, I feel like a glitch like that is that impactful. I mean, I guess it's not that impactful, but it is a pretty major glitch, I'd say. Like, that's something that is, like, very wrong. Something with 100% accuracy shouldn't miss unless your accuracy gets lowered. This can't be happening! I fought hard, but I still lost! Yes, that is how losing to me works. Alex, isn't it? A brat like you won't appreciate the magnificence of Team Rocket. That's too bad. I really admire your power. Oh, you managed to get this far? You must be quite the trainer. We intend to take over this radio station and announce our comeback. That should bring our boss Giovanni back from his solo training. We are going to regain our former glory. I won't allow you to interfere with our plans. But yeah, I don't remember what I was just talking about. I'm pretty sure I finished the thought. If I didn't, that's unfortunate. Oh, this is Petrol. Who is that guy down there? This must be Petrol. Because Petrol, I believe, is very high standing. Has very high standings in this company currently. And by company, I mean evil criminal organization. But anyway, I'm pretty sure I finished that thought that I was on. And if I didn't, well then, it's not likely... I'm pretty sure I finished that thought I was on about... that I was on when I was, like, fighting that previous trainer. And if I didn't, then it's unlikely I remember it from here on out. So, it's unlikely I remember it at this point. So, yeah, I'm just gonna go back to the King Ollie talk. So yeah, first of all, right off the bat, with the Princess Peach thing, and him wanting the woman to be silent and beautiful, is... Beautiful but silent is crazy. That already is just, like, sexist as all get out, in my opinion. And then he has to be racist as well, because he just says... He legitimately says... Okay, so Ollie's backstory is basically that, like, the toad who made him, because apparently, apparently, like, origami beings in this world, who are not, like, regular paper beings that were folded by Ollie, are just creatures that had no life, and then were, like, they were just pieces of paper that had no life, and then were folded by other pieces of paper, which is strange. They were basically origami beings in this world, who were not folded into who were not just regular paper beings that were folded into origami by Ollie, were created by toads. Toads just practice origami, apparently. And unlike in real life, this practice of origami, brings things to life. Toads can just bring life into the world by folding ordinary paper into origami, and then it becomes a living creature, apparently, so that's interesting. But the point is, some random toad, folded Ollie. And then, some random toad folded Ollie, and apparently, the way that he folded Ollie thought that there was a mistake. Well, okay, Ollie thought that he scribbled, that the toad that folded him scribbled on him, when in actuality that was just like a signature of love or something. And so he was like, oh, I hate all toads because this one toad who folded me, the toad who gave me life, by the way, who literally brought me to life, he scribbled on me. So now I hate all toads. I hate not just him, I do not just hate the guy who brought me to life, but his entire species because he scribbled on me a little bit. Talk about melodramatic. Talk about, like, actually getting carried away. But, as absurd as it sounds, he just hates all toads. Because you'd think he would love toads, or at least love the guy who brought him to life. But not only does he hate the guy who brought him life, but he also hates that guy's entire species. He just hates toads in general, because a toad brought him to life, but scribbled on him a little bit. And later, when his creator, that toad, comes after you beat the fight to see him, he says that it was actually like a signature of love or something, and then he's like, oh, I was wrong, I've been a jerk. And it's like, that's in exaggeration. You've been more than a jerk. You've been a massive jerk, a massive super evil jerk, because my gosh, did you not only are you just a sexist piece of crap, but also you're racist as well, because you hate an entire species because one person did something to you that you thought was mean, when in actuality it was a sign of love. Man literally says, and I quote, all toads are the same. That's toadsist. That's freaking racist towards toads. That is literally racist towards toads. It is not, how do you even sugarcoat that? He said all toads are the same. He hates all toads. These are words out of his mouth. He hates all toads, and he said, all toads are the same. So, man, they decided to make their villain both sexist and racist, and I think that's crazy. King Ollie is the one Nintendo villain I can think of that is neither likable nor pure evil without a moral compass. Just unlikable. He's not pure evil, he's just unlikable. Also, another thing I find funny about the end of Paper Mario Origami King is that right before the boss fight, right before the final boss, Bowser gives Olivia a pep talk, and because Olivia's like, I don't think I can face my brother, he's just too strong. And then, basically how Bowser responds to this is saying, hey, look at me, I'm Bowser! And that's not paraphrasing, those are his exact words. Yes, there's more to it, but I think it's crazy that his pep talk starts as, hey, look at me, I'm Bowser! It's like, yes you are, King. Yes you are. How that helps cheer up anyone besides you, I don't know. But man set out to give Olivia a pep talk and started off by pep talking himself, and I think that's hilarious. He's like, hey, look at me! I'm Bowser! I breathe fire! And he's literally like saying, hey, look at me, I'm Bowser, then gives his resume, basically. And then Olivia somehow is made more confident by this. This stupid pep talk, which is just Bowser pep talking himself at Olivia, somehow makes Olivia more confident, and I think that's crazy. And I think it's even crazier the pep talk just starts with, hey, look at me, I'm Bowser! Man really said, hey, look at me, I'm Bowser! It's such a, like, who wrote this? You know? Someone who has never played a Mario game before in their life wrote that line. Clearly. Because they were like, what should Bowser say at this moment to help Olivia, to give Olivia more confidence? What should Bowser say? What is a thing that Bowser would say? Hey, look at me! I'm Bowser! Thanks, Bowser. Bowser's classic line of, hey, look at me, I'm Bowser. And then he goes on to say about how he could, like, breathe fire, and he's, like, a badass. Obviously, he didn't say, I breathe fire and I'm a badass, but he did say, hey, look at me, I'm Bowser, I breathe fire. As if, hey, look at me, I'm Bowser, isn't obnoxious and like, cheesy enough. Hey, look at me, I'm Bowser, I breathe fire. It's like... Man wanted to clarify who he is, even though everyone already knows. And then, on top of that, he wanted to make sure that everyone also knows that he breathes fire. He wants to make sure everyone knows how cool he is, so that Olivia feels more confident, question mark? Like, how is this meant to make Olivia feel more confident? How is this a pep talk for Olivia at all? You are hyping yourself up. Man literally says, hi, Man literally says, hey, look at me, I'm Bowser, I breathe fire. And then goes on to talk about how parenting is hard, and he raises an obnoxious child, who is energetic and has a clown car, and it's like, why are you pep-talking yourself? How does you saying parenting is hard help Olivia? Like, I get where they're going with this, right? I understand that Bowser is saying, like, look at me, look at what I can do, you can be awesome like me. However, the fact of the matter is, he spends way too much time on the look at me, I'm awesome part, for this to seem like an actual genuine pep talk, and not like Bowser just bragging. And it's really funny that his way of cheering up Olivia and making her more confident about herself is bragging about himself. Is saying that he's Bowser and he breathes fire and he raises a hyper energetic child with a clown car who is, like, obnoxious. It's crazy to me and so funny to me that that's that is his definition of a pep talk. That's what he sees as a pep talk. That's how he that's what he deems a pep talk for Olivia. Is bragging about, is saying, hey look at me, I'm Bowser. Bragging about himself and what he's capable of. And then saying, if I could be awesome, you could be awesome too. He's like, so little of this pep talk for Olivia is actually a pep talk for Olivia. So much of it is complimenting yourself. What is man thinking? Well, he's certainly not thinking that this is a pep talk for Olivia that he's doing. And if he is, he's very out of touch with what the people around him need. He's very out of touch with how to actually be a good, helpful person, if he thinks that this is an actually good pep talk for Olivia. I think it is more likely that he is not trying to give a pep talk for Olivia at all. That it is instead him bragging disguised as a pep talk for Olivia. And I think it's really funny. Regardless of whether he's just being stupid and not realizing what the people, or regardless of whether he's just being stupid and not realizing what Olivia needs to hear, or he doesn't care what Olivia needs to hear, and is instead giving a pep talk, giving her a quote-unquote pep talk that is just him bragging. Regardless of which one of those it is, it's hilarious that he says, "Hey, look at me! I'm Bowser! I breathe fire, and I take care of an over-obnoxious son who's hyperactive and has a clown car that can fly all over the place and breathe fire. Like me, Bowser. Because we're both so cool." And thinks that's a pep talk. Or does not think that's a pep talk. Fact of the matter is, he disguises that as a pep talk. He acts like it is a pep talk. Even whether or not he thinks it is, whether or not he actually thinks it is, he acts like this is a pep talk. And I think that's hilarious. No, forgive me, Giovanni. How could this be? Our dreams have come to naught. I wasn't up to the task after all, like Giovanni did before me. I will disband Team Rocket here today. Farewell. We did it! We did all the Team Rocket story stuff! It only took, like, 3 hours! Because the Team Rocket stuff in this game is so long. There's so much Team Rocket stuff in this game. And so much of it is in between the 7th and 8th gym. There's so much Team Rocket stuff in between the 7th and 8th gym. And they just shoved all the Team Rocket stuff between these two gyms. It is so obnoxious. But anyway, moving on. Alex, thank you. Your courageous actions have saved Pokemon nationwide. Nationwide is on your side. I know it's not much, but please take this. I received the Rainbow Wing. Is that how I summon Ho-Oh? Put the Rainbow Wing in Kiani's pocket. There used to be a tower, right here in Goldenrod City. But it was old and creaky. Like me. I'm old and creaky. So we replaced it with our radio tower. During the teardown, we found that at the top. I heard the giant Pokemon used to fly over Goldenrod in the past. Maybe that fell off a Pokemon. Maybe like the one that appears at Tin Tower in Ecruteak City. Okay, I better go to my office. Okay, you do you, man. Sick. So we got the Rainbow Wing. So I think what that means is that we can now go get Ho-Oh. Question mark? Possibly. There's a guy here now. Now that I've left the room and come back. A second later. Not even. There's a guy here. Do you listen to our music? No. Goodbye. End of conversation. But yeah, now we're just gonna kind of go back down these stairs, exit this building, and then we are going to put a Pokemon in the PC. Take a wild guess who it's gonna be. I'll give you a hint. It's Henrietta. Because I'm not going to continue on in progressing this game any longer until I get the second Gligar out of my party. We do not need to. Absolutely not. Bill's PC. Let's put a Pokemon in here so that we can go over to Bill himself and then get whatever Pokemon he has as a gift Pokemon to give to us. So we're going to deposit a Pokemon. And that Pokemon is going to be Henrietta. Can we take the item off of them first that is on them? Oh, maybe that's why the wing attacks were doing so much damage from our not Juan. Sorry, now I'm confusing the Glygars. Maybe that's why when Henrietta was a Totodile, those wing attacks were still doing so much damage even though they're not stab. Is because we had the Sharp Beak is what I was gonna say as taking Sharp Beak item off of Pokemon showed up on screen. But it didn't because we have a full bag, so we cannot take it off right now. So basically, I'm going to give a Pokemon an item, a held item, and then we can, let's give Nina the Polka Dot Bow, so that we can power up those body slams. Yeah, free up a little bit of space, just a little slot, just one little slot, and then, now that we have freed up that slot, we can take off the item that Henrietta's holding, which I believe is a sharp beak. Nope, not give. Take item. Took sharp beak. Oh yeah, okay, yeah. So that did power up our wing attack when we were a Totodile. So that probably without that we wouldn't have killed killed that whatever it was. What was that thing where I was like really impressed that we killed it in one hit? I don't know. It wasn't the Hitmontop. I know we one-shotted the Hitmontop, and that was kind of impressive, but I know there was another one that I found more impressive that we one-shotted, because that one was super effective. There was, like, a Pokemon that I believe was fully evolved that wasn't weak to flying, and we still one-shotted. I don't remember what it was, though. First of all, deposit Pokemon. We're going to deposit our friend Henrietta here, because Henrietta is, unfortunately, no longer of use to us, as they are now a Gligar, like our starter, and I'm certainly not boxing my starter. Quincy is here. We could use Quincy. We could use our Lugia. But that's a decent amount of training. That's a lot of training, I'd say. Yeah, why don't we use Quincy? Why not? Well, first of all, let me just check, because it's been a while since I've looked at it. Do we have duplicate names here? Have I messed up and named two Pokemon the same thing? Holly, Quincy, Gabriella. Sorry, not Gabriella. Holly, Quincy, Gabriella, Stacy, Larry, Scott, Rachel, Stuart, Eddie, Kenya, Henrietta. No, okay, so we have no duplicate names, which is crazy, because I thought for sure I would have done a duplicate by now. But I have not. So, that's good. Now. Shall I take Quincy out of the PC? It is... Or should I just wait till we get a legendary? Because I feel like we're gonna get a legendary soon. Let's put Quincy on the team for now. I don't see any harm in it. Besides, I guess that I might get attached and then might not want to add the legendary to the team, I guess. I might want to keep Quincy, and then that may cause me to get rid of Shucky to put the legendary on. And I don't want to do that because I want to keep Shucky ideally. I want to train up Shucky and keep Shucky and bring Shucky to the Elite Four. And then hopefully Shucky can, through their existence and through having triumph in the Elite Four, avenge Alice, the Haunter that we lost in our final battle in the Pokemon Red Nuzlocke. So, Pokemon Red Randomizer Nuzlocke. So, yeah, that's the plan, I think, with Shucky. I want them to live through what Alice could not. I want them to be the Haunter that survives the Pokemon League. So, yeah, ideally I want to keep Alice on the team. But, like, I also want to have a legendary on the team. You know? So it's a hard decision, and because the rest of my team is absolutely, like, non-negotiable, you know? Like, Juan, Nina, Geraldine, and Judy are staying. Quincy, Shucky I want to stay, obviously, because of the Pokemon League. Because I want them to get through the Pokemon League, as I just said. Quincy, though, I would not mind being replaced with a legendary. The problem is they're a shiny, and they are my shiny. They are the shiny static I got. And I also like the Weepin' Bell. I also like the Bellsprout line a lot. So I don't want to get too attached to Quincy to the point where I'd rather put Shucky in the box for the legendary than Quincy. But at the same time, I don't want to put neither in the box and just let the legendary be in the box, because then at that point we have two legendaries just sitting in the box, and that's crazy. That's just, at that point, that's a waste of a Master Ball to, do we have a Master Ball, actually? Do we even have a Master Ball? Or do I have to just, like, catch the legendary? I do not have a Master Ball. Am I supposed to have a Master Ball? Did I use the Master Ball on the Lugia? Or was that a Master Ball I got randomly? Do I get an actual Master Ball? Remember I talked about this in a previous episode, like, where do you get the Master Ball in this game? I don't know. I would have assumed that the rich businessman that I saved would have given it to me, but I guess the president of the radio tower would have given it to me, but I guess not. So I think that's it for the Team Rocket stuff, finally. So I guess in the next episode, we'll go, check out the, check things out at the Tin Tower, see if we can catch ourselves a legendary. Question mark. Maybe when I go there, they're gonna give me Master Ball right before I encounter it. Maybe, I'm gonna encounter it, then I'm gonna realize I don't have Master Ball, and then, I'm just gonna not be able to catch it. Who knows? Regardless, we're gonna see in the next episode if we can, either get a Master Ball. I'm probably gonna look it up in between episodes. And then in the next episode, we will, I think, be going to get the legendary. Unless we don't have a Master Ball, in which case, what's the point? But then again, actually, that's good XP. Going up the tower is good XP anyway, so, yeah. In the next episode, I am pretty sure we are going up the Tin Tower and going to encounter the legendary. Unless we can't do that at this point in the game. But, regardless of whether, we get a Master Ball, we can get a Master Ball at this point, or not. If we can do it at this point in the game, I'd like to go up the Tin Tower and encounter the legendary, in the next episode. So, I'm gonna take this call from Wayne the Fisherman, and then I'll end off the episode. Alex, good morning! It's me, Wayne! How are you doing? I just saw some rare Feraligatr in Route 34. I'll call you if I see another rare Pokemon, okay? See you later! Okay, thank you, Wayne. Okay, so anyway, thank you all so much for watching, EV Clan. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you all in the next one. This is Alex Beyond, signing off.